This is Crown Narratives, where African stories meet the future. Some languages are spoken, others are lived. Along the East African coast, one language has traveled through centuries of trade, migration, culture, and connection. A language born from movement, from encounters between worlds. A language that today unites millions across Africa and beyond. Swahili. To understand Swahili, you first have to understand the coast. Well, for centuries, the East African coastline connected Africa to the wider world. Ships arrived from Arabia, Persia, India, and later Europe. Ports like Mombasa, Lamu, and Zanzibar became centers of commerce and cultural exchange. And somewhere in the middle of those encounters, a language began to take shape. Swahili, or Kiswahili, developed primarily from Bantu African roots while absorbing influences from Arabic and other languages over time. The result was not just communication, it was cultural fusion. For traders crossing the Indian Ocean, Swahili became the bridge between communities. It allowed people from different backgrounds to exchange goods, ideas, and traditions. Gold, ivory, spices, stories, everything moved through the language of the coast, and slowly, boom, Swahili spread inland. What began along the shoreline eventually traveled deep into East and Central Africa. But Swahili is more than vocabulary. It carries rhythm, poetry, identity. Traditional Swahili poetry, known as Mashahiri, became an art form of its own, blending storytelling with music and philosophy. Even today, the language flows with musicality, soft vowels, smooth cadence, expressive emotion. And perhaps that is why Swahili feels less like something spoken and more like something experienced. Today, over 200 million people speak Swahili across Africa, from Kenya and Tanzania to Uganda, Rwanda, the Democratic Republic of Congo, and beyond. It has become one of the continent's most influential languages, and the world has started paying attention. International media platforms now produce Swahili broadcasts. Universities across Europe and North America teach the language. Even global organizations recognize its growing cultural importance. Because Swahili is no longer just regional, it is global. And like many African traditions, Swahili is evolving through technology. Social media creators use it to reach massive online audience. Podcasters blend modern storytelling with local expression. Music artists carry Swahili into global pop culture. On platforms like YouTube and TikTok, young Africans are reshaping how the language sounds and spreads. Traditional phrase now mix naturally with internet slang and modern culture. And somehow, Swahili continues adapting without losing its soul. But perhaps the most powerful thing about Swahili, you are asking, is what it represents. Unity. Across borders, ethnicities, and histories, the language became shared identity for millions. In a continent of extraordinary diversity like this, Swahili created connection. And in a rapidly changing digital world, that connection matters more than ever. As waves continue crashing along the East African coast, The language born from centuries of exchange continues traveling forward across cities, across generations, across digital spaces. Because Swahili is more than a language, it is history carried through voice, a reminder that Africa has always been connected to the world from the start of time and continues speaking it still. This has been Crown Narratives, where African stories shape the future. A Calmey Crown Studios production.